Top one, laddies. My name is Chaz, and welcome to the What If Lucky Shield Was in My Hero Academia. And so Lucky's shield has the power of like Lucky Shield. But he also has powers of infinity and zero. So, and when both or all three of them combine, makes the infinity shield. No? But there's also a fourth power that he has called supernova. No. So, it's like Bakugo's explosions, but he doesn't need the sweat to do it. He needs to get like more focused. And so, yeah. So, let's begin with his tragic backstory. Ready? So, we are at the hospital thing. His parents his mother gave birth to him. And when the, when the kid, or no, when the, not kid, when the, give me a minute, no, when the kid gets like spanked by the doctor, so and he was just a baby at this time, and something happened, and his parents died. As he crawled around, as he was so young. Hung. As the homeless people took him in and raised him. As he, his, so he was young, but he saw his mother, or his biological mother and father, get obliterated by him. So when he grew up, he goes to the quirk doctor at age of 4, and he has a quirk called Lucky Shield. And nuclear explosion, or supernova explosion. So the basically supernova explosion quirk is a most dangerous quirk that ever existed. Way more than All for One's Hun. So, yeah. So the time skip to 15. Yeah. So he goes to UA. He promised himself not to use his nuclear side or supernova. So he uses the lucky shield instead. So, yeah. And he looks around. He sees them all happy. Hmm? So, yeah. And, yeah. So he goes to the do the internship thing. Or the court testing to get into UA. And he ended up with Class 1B stats. And so, yeah. The very first person when he arrived the next day, he meets. He, no. Or he is quiet. No one noticed him. But then the student came over. And she's in Class 1B. Same class as him. Is her. Because she walks over her and says, "Ready for hard training and with the rest of us?" Yeah. Okay. And what's your name? As she says that. My name is Lucky Shield. Named after my quirk. Huh. Or call me Lucky. Lucky. Cool name. So, yeah. Every time someone throws a punch at me, as she wants to know more about his quirk. Huh? As he says, if someone hits me, like whacks into my chest or any part of my body, see, they get bad luck for them. But if I punch them, they end up getting good luck instead. Wow. You know, I'm more of a shield myself. As he, yeah, as he looks outside. So, yeah. So then everybody know or doesn't know he was the only one that destroyed the entire hospital. Oh. When he was just a baby. Not even 1 year old. It's, yeah. So he doesn't know. Oh. As the blood hero is like, alright, class D, this is a thing. Here I'm being hold on and down here, okay? Okay. As they so everyone else went, alright, Lucky, you're up. As he got a ball. As he Blood Hero knows something's up when as his arm turns red like that. Like imagine imagine his arm that's holding the ball. Oh. As he throws the ball, as it like landed, ended in 9 point, or no, actually infinity. So it was like it says word infinity. Yeah. Or actually 9 point bazillion. And as the it's pretty far as the explosion happened, as they see explosion, as he turns it off, as he turns around, walks back into line now. Because everyone heard the explosion, as they're like, come on, cheer up. It was just a focused. As Blood Hero sends him, like, had a scattered brain. Or not Blood Hero, the Lucky Shield had scattered brain, who makes sure to who keep him motivated without having to do, like, make that mistake. So yeah, yeah. So then I'm skipping the Heroes versus villains. Of course, sports festival. No, actually, no. At the USJ team, Class A and Class B worked together. As he's trying to, or he stayed away from the rest of them. As they're wondering why is he always like away from everybody. So yeah, so then he throws the ball, or no, actually, at the USJ name. So for this thing, because you guys voted for the orange-haired girl to be his girlfriend, and followed by Momo. So, yeah. So Momo and her were sitting together talking. And they were talking about that explosion. And that almost made everyone go deaf on it. As he... Only person that wasn't going deaf thing of that explosion was Lucky Shield. So, yeah. As he's away from them, so he was a last person off. As then they go into UA and sorry I could not find any pictures of it. And maybe next time I'll I'm back, so sorry about that. So the basically Zuko, or no, they go in. Or 13 explains that then the villain shows up, and they're like here to kill All Might, and then as he is, or Lucky Shield had, and who like he looks as he knows that he's scared of hurting other people, as his body can't hold it back any longer, as he covers his face, as he's about to weep her, as she was standing right next to him. She knows that something's gonna go somewhere. So he teleports everyone away, except for those villains. As he says, you know why. As Zuko straight up or no, Lucky shield ends up straight up. He he. That's why he always placed his backpack outside. in, 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 and yeah, his body starts to now radiating off of it as the he's more focused on it as his entire body exploded. Or actually, there's the big explosion as he killed the remaining villains. The USJ was no more. The sound of explosion rattled every building. Everyone could hear it. And from a mile away. As he was just standing there, looking down at the corpses of the bones of the dead and like villains. As he starts to tear up, as All Might shows up with the pro heroes, as he was on his knees, as he felt like his own body, or as he starts to cry, as All Might could tell that as he could hear Lucky Shield crying because his soul, or they know that he did this. As he says, I did this two times. As he starts to have a heartbeat thing. As he walks up, or as All Might walks up, as he, or actually he gets up, turns around, walks away with his head down, and as All Might was in the front of him, as they know that he blames himself, as he told All Might that he could not control it or can't hold back. That's what, as he says it with such a sad face, he told them, this is why that my biological parents died. Because of Um, my power killed them. As Zuko, or as All Might hugs him, as everybody knows that it wasn't his fault that destroyed. And yeah. So Zuko ends up being, Zuko. Or no, Lucky Shield went back home. Or he went. As he crawled in the corner of the hallway, as he could not imagine if his friends and if he lost his friends like that. As the Class 1B students went out to find him. As the as she walks and she found him, as she hugs over closer to him, Lucky Shield, as he looks up at her, as I know how you feel. And please, him, tell us why him. Or actually, I know that you saved our lives. As he starts to tear up again. Or as he tells her that he almost tried to kill all of ya. You saw those corpses that were at USJ. He I almost had to go through that same thing. And I went through that same thing twice. First time was when I was born. That's the first time I promised to myself not to use that power or again. And that's why I rely on my Lucky Shield quirk too. Okay? Okay? So she's like, yeah, huh. You haven't really talked about your backstory. And I feel kind of bad for you. Losing your parents to your own power from a day that you were born. Hmm? Yeah. And they had a born date. Or birthday. And as he's blaming himself for it. Okay. So doors ended up, or not doors, dorms, and implemented earlier. So he's just he was blaming himself for her for all that stuff. As he says, I couldn't even sleep because of no one cared. Okay? So he blames himself for everything. As he yeah. So the next morning he ends up being like, weird. He stayed awake all night. Yeah. So he basically he understood, or he created, or he made some eggs and sausages for everybody. And yeah, or morning, as everybody's like, as they all got served up. Um. So he just yeah, and they know that he is they understood that it was his fault that so he's living with some guilt. And Blood Hero walks up and tells him, or rest of you will be training your hardest, except for Lucky Shield. I know that, and you'll be for 2 weeks. And you're gonna sleep, okay? I know that all that stuff that you did was your power, blames your power for it. Or, no. Oh. As so he goes back into the bedroom thing so he sleeps. As he's having a nightmare of him watching it over and over and over again. As as the there's always a person right next to him to make sure that he's as he saw the explosions, like as his heart start to, as he's blaming himself for all right. So yeah, so as when that changed, when he when he used his like he tries to sleep him when he yeah. So then the day of his sports festival, he something told him to be up in the bleachers. Commentary. Okay. And he does commentary thing as he or the using things like if you want anything in them or anything or if you fall asleep, oh, okay, yeah. As because back then, or actually the before her, like after the quark test, yeah, she actually fell in love. Like she actually has a crush on him. Him. Where yeah. Alright. Wait. Yeah. So basically, yeah, she had a crush on him. Like on the very first day that they, yeah, went to UA, Class 1B. And she did not care if he moves up to Class 1A. So then she still loves him. So then now at Sports Festival, she says in her head, I have to make that boy he loved me thing. So basically, yeah. So she gets fourth place. Followed by, actually in front of her, Zuko in first place in the race, Bakugo in second, Todoroki in third, her and then the rest. Yeah. And there's also a second person that's in the lead thing. Is Momo. She ends up thinking about that. Like if she could tell that she's in love with him too. So both of them are clashing. Yeah. So basically, yeah. So basically, this is why. Yeah. And let's say Bakugo, Todoroki, and then him got first place. As Hinja feels happy for them. Or he was sleeping, but the hey? As the music my he sometimes keeps him calm down. Because once he sees his arm turn red, like with yellow, that means he's about to explode. Hone. As he wakes up. Okay. Yeah, let's just. Okay. He wipes his eyes. And they. Yeah. So then, yeah. As he. Yeah. So basically, Zuko. Or not. Lucky Shield, I meant Lucky Shield, not Zuko. Okay? Ends up being Zuko. Oh, and yeah. the so the actually during the so Todoroki had no opponent to battle against and for the final round. So they decided to send him down there because the second place person can become first place if he battles against the class 1B team Lucky team Shield. And so he says, okay. So then Todoroki understands or doesn't understand why. As he had pictures, or actually, Lucky Shield had pictures of the classmates being all happy and getting along great. As he, of course, Todoroki's getting angry. Angry. let's fight begin. And then Todoroki goes in, and as he's about to deliver a ice, as he remembers that if he hits him, then the bad luck will go to himself. So basically, like, I'm saying if Todoroki if he uses his ice, then the bad luck goes right to Todoroki himself. So yeah. So he ends up letting him do it anyways to make his father because they know that he's trying his hardest. No, waffles. So yeah. So basically, yeah, Zuko so Todoroki gets mad, and he uses his flames to literally burn a person. And Zuko, or as Lucky Shield was his, like, they thought he was done for. As Todoroki's about to walk away, as a voice comes from the fire. What's a rush? Says Todoroki, as they see a skeleton comes out of the flames. As they could not believe that he survived. As they yeah. Sorry. He ends up being, Todoroki versus yeah. So Todoroki ends up getting he's like, what? How did you survive my flames? Huh. I sometimes wonder how he survive my own explosions. As now, you only have two quirks. Your own flames and your own ice. But you know what I have? I have Infinity Zero, Lucky Shield, and I have two powers that are abilities. I have two quirks that are Lucky Shield and Explosion, Supernova. And yeah. Now, as the this guy uses his power, or as he says, black hole. As he had his hand put down onto as they could not believe it. As he destroyed the entire ring. And Now, how really? As he drops the ring, or the battle ring, or battle stadium thing, right onto Todoroki's head. Like, smooshed him. Hmm. Yeah. As he's blaming, as he picks it back up, as he, Todoroki wasn't like, he thought he was killed, but then he, turns out he just, or Lucky Shield made a hole in the ground for him to, little bit, yeah. And then, yeah. So, and in this alternate one, same thing with the other what ifs one, was that the Todoroki and Bakugo fell in love with Zumi. Yeah. And then the Ochako, who fell in love with Zuko, who, and yeah. But they could not believe how powerful he is. Yeah. So, yeah. So, her love is deeper, like, because he made her love go super deep. Her heart is, yeah, more like she wants him more. And so did Momo, because, yeah. So both of them, were like arguing when they went back to their dorms. As Zuko or Lucky Shield was behind them. What are they arguing about? None of my business. So he goes away, or he goes to his door, as both of the students, her and Momo, end up asking him if he had to choose one of them, who would he choose? As he looks at both of them, I chose both of you. As he says that, huh? Okay. So then they were both dating him at the same time, and yeah. He doesn't want to leave. Yeah, so he basically, yeah. Yeah. So now Zuko versus, or no, actually I'm doing the time skip. So instead of going through Zuko versus Hero Killer Stain thing, that whole arc, and then the And yeah. And the Can Park, it will be All For One versus All My. Yeah. So then, yeah. So, All For One's about to. As All For One shoots a laser out, then All For One says, "Today's not my lucky day." Yeah. But then a miracle happens. As Zuko absorbs the attack. Uh, the lucky shield absorbs the attack. As he says, "Now I have evolved my quirk into a super ultimate Nova." As he combines his two quirks and his both powers of like abilities to become this big power level, as he has more control over his powers. So, yeah, he unlocked this stage of power through his, like, and you guys might be wondering what his eyes are doing. Well, they both are looking this way, okay? But he isn't cross-eyed. The red part, yeah, and the blue. So yeah, just to make sure you understand it. So please wait for part 2 to be filmed.